All right, shalom. I'm Officer Elisha 500 from the ISUPK under Commander Jenny Hanna. And who do I have the pleasure to speak with?
My name is Charles Dixon.
Mr. Charles Dixon. So we're going to ask this brother about the state of policing here in America and how does he feel? So first off, do you agree with the policing here in America, in Kansas City? Do you agree with the system at all?
No, I don't. I can tell you this from experience, I know that when I get stopped by the police, if I'm in Kansas City, if I'm in Independence, if I'm in Kansas City, Kansas, I know that I have had to have a demeanor about myself is that when I get stopped by the police, I put both my hands on the steering wheel.
Right.
I don't see any other people do that, but I put both my hands up here on the steering wheel.
And why do you feel like you have to put both your hands on the steering wheel?
Because if this guy sees my hand going any other way, any other place, he's gonna pull his gun and he's gonna start firing.
Okay.
You know that's a fact.
So it's safe to say that you don't agree with the policing here in America?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And so anyway, when I'm putting my hands on the steering wheel, my window's already down. He ain't got to worry about my hands going anywhere else but on the steering wheel.
Right.
And when he comes up to me and says, "Sir, I'm stopping you because of this, or I'm stopping you because of that. Can I see your insurance? Can I see your driver's license? Can I see your registration?"
Right.
My stuff is up here.
Right.
Like up in my hands, is up in the air.
Right.
And I got it in my visor.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So why do you feel that you have to do these type of things?
Because the police are scared, especially white officers. I never get stopped by anything but white officers.
So you believe the police are scared of who? Who are they scared of?
They're scared of us, black people.
So why do you think they're scared of us? Why would they be scared of black
And they
people?
got the guns and all that.
And they got the guns, they got the, they got the bulletproof vests.
I believe it's in their
They got the tasers.
I believe it's in their training.
You believe it's in their
training.
You believe it's in their
Yeah,
training?
I mean,
so you believe the police are being trained to be scared of us?
When you look at when a police is doing a target practice and they're doing their firearm, whatever they do to get certified, you don't see a silhouette of a white person up there. You see a silhouette of a black person.
Like a black shadow thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I agree with you that the police are, profiling. Would you say that they're profiling
yeah, they do
so-called
that.
black people?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. So where they're training and you believe they're getting trained like that. So where does their training come from? What leads up to them in this system of the policing to where they target us? Where do you think the head of the problem is? And if
I can't tell you where. I don't know nothing about where it comes from. I just know it's there.
you just know it's there.
I know it's there.
Okay, so who do the police represent here in America?
But they don't represent us.
They don't represent us? That's good.
They don't represent us.
That's good.
But
who do they represent?
They represent. Let me tell you something. They represent people that look like them.
That's a good. Get
Because
a brother in.
Because when people look like them, you don't see them getting stopped like we get stopped.
Right.
And when they do get stopped, 9 times out of 10, they let them go about their business.
They let them go about their business.
They don't-
That's good. That's good that you said that. So, with that being said, with them targeting us, them profiling us, what do you think needs to change as far as the policing? What do you think as far as like us, right? What do you think we can do, or what do you think needs to be done? I'm not gonna say what we can do. What do you think needs to be done in order for that to change?
Well,
in the system?
one thing I believe needs to be changed is that a white officer needs to have a black officer with them. Need to be a white officer and a black officer in the car with them.
Are you familiar with the situation that happened a couple of weeks ago with Tyree Nichols?
Oh yeah, I'm
officers?
familiar with that.
So
But that's a different thing.
How is that different?
Different because those officers right there had a vendetta against Tyree Hill.
But is what you were saying earlier, you were saying that the so-called white officers have a vendetta against us as well.
Well, they do, but in this particular case with that brother, he was going with a girl, and the girl had been going with an officer, and
I'm not sure if they found that out to be true.
Yeah,
if they found that
true.
out to be true.
Yeah, it's true.
I haven't seen any evidence come out in the
saw that
articles
yesterday.
for it.
Okay.
So you seen the article that they
Yeah,
put
I
out
see it
about it?
yesterday.
So even if it was that one brother, right?
Yeah.
That he slept with his officer, why did the other 4 brothers have to jump him?
The reason that is, you know how we are. You know, if
But I'm saying this happens with the police all the time. Like say say if you get into it right now with a police officer and something was to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Is it going to just be one officer, or is it going to be a gang of officers that come
It's
detain?
going to be a gang of.
It's going to be a gang of officers.
So I see what you're saying, and ain't really no difference. I see.
It's no difference.
Okay.
So in the color, so it's not going to matter if a so-called black officer is with a so-called white officer.
But I think in that, yeah, you're right. It might not. But if a white officer is with a black officer, the chances are, I believe, the chances are very slim to none for the brother to just stand by and let the white officer just do whatever.
You think so?
I believe if he's a righteous officer, I believe that he would not stand by and let another officer beat down another brother.
So do you feel like it's righteous officers?
There's some, you can't put everybody in the same boat.
To go back to so it goes back like when we were
But I'm still scared. When an
understand.
officer stops me, I don't care if he's black, I don't care if he's white, I don't care if he's Hispanic. When an officer stops me, I come in the mode is I better put my hands on the steering wheel and I better not move until we get through this business.
Right.
It's Salagi, if I could.
Hold on, hold your point real quick, because when we opened up talking about the policing, right? We opened up. Now, if there are good officers on the police force, on a police force, and there are bad officers, regardless if they're black or white,
Right.
and they're here to, bring justice and fight crime, how do you have good officers with the bad officers
Because
in policing? And if the good officers are seeing the bad officers, why aren't they standing up to the bad officers before they come out here and beat a man to death?
Look what happened to Floyd. What happened to him?
To who?
To Floyd.
George Floyd.
George Floyd, okay.
Look what happened to him. Those officers just stood around while this other officer was on this dude's neck.
Right.
They just stood around and they kept people from interfering. Now those officers right there that stood around and they might have been good officers, but this guy, they felt like he was in charge. See, there's no, what do you call it? No.
So are they good officers?
Well, stand around and look at somebody kill somebody, that's not a good officer, no.
And
no.
so I mean that's kind of, and that's pretty much where you have the police departments today. You may have some good police officers, but the rest of them are sitting around allowing crimes to happen because they're afraid.
That's a good point.
In a righteous person who wants to really protect and do their job, you can't be afraid.
Right. Well,
you can't be afraid.
But
so
anyway,
would that still be your solution? Would that still be your solution to have a black cop with a white cop? You think that'll work?
I think it would help. I just said it's perfect. I think it would help. Because if you got a black officer and a white officer, the black officer would kind of maybe fill the white officer in on our culture and maybe how we react to things and how we talk and how we, you know what I'm saying?
When you say our culture, you don't feel like the white officers understand our culture enough?
No, they don't understand the black culture.
You don't think they do?
No, they don't understand.
So you think we need to educate the white officers on our culture and then less crime would happen?
That's a possibility, but that's not guaranteed, okay?
So what do you think, what's your guarantee? What do you think is guaranteed to work as far as the policing here in America to where tons of crimes are being committed against blacks and Hispanics?
I'll tell you what needs to work, maybe, because it helped me when I was little white. Police officers used to be in our neighborhoods. They used to walk in our neighborhoods. They used to walk down our blocks. We knew the police officers by name. We wasn't afraid of the police officers because they knew us and they interacted with us.
Right.
And when I was coming up, I came up on 5th Street down in Kansas City, Kansas.
So was no racial injustice back then?
It was, but I'm just telling you.
We can't use that for example then, because if it was still racial injustice then and it's still racial injustice now, what's going to be the remedy? Even though you knew the cops back then, y'all had a relationship, there was still racial injustices. There was still Rodney Kings. There was still Mike Browns. There was still George Floyds and Tyree Nichols.
Well, then I don't have an answer for that, because
There's no answer for that?
Because I'm telling you, when I was coming up, even though it might have been that racial thing going on, it never happened in our neighborhood, not with the police officers.
So in our organization, the ISUPK and the Commanding General Hana, we teach the Bible, right?
Okay.
And we're labeled a hate group because of our stance on slavery, because of the crimes we charge America with. like the injustice of Tyrese Nichols, the injustice of Mike Brown,
Right.
and George Floyd.
Right.
We bring to the light their crimes in a broad view, and they label us a hate group because we teach the Bible. Because now, since you understand that, and you understand the history of America, right? The history of America and how the policing is in America, and with all the crimes being committed to blacks and Hispanics, from unlawful traffic stops
Right.
to being unalived and put to death,
Right.
like all those brothers and sisters that we that have been, unalived, like Sandra Bland, Tyree Nichols, and Mike Brown.
Right.
Would you consider the police a hate group?
Well, yeah, definitely a hate group.
They're definitely a hate group?
Yeah, they're definitely
So
a
the
hate
brother said the police is a hate group.
They're a hate group.
So how are we going to fix a hate group?
Man, hate group's been around a long time. From the Ku Klux Klan to Jim Crow, it's been around a long time.
So is it possible to fix a hate group?
I don't believe it's possible to fix a hate group. You can fix maybe one person, but not the whole group. Because there's going to be somebody in the group that's going to say, oh, do what they do. I don't think you can fix the whole group. Not the hate group. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
That's good. Get a brother a hand, because
Right.
that's what we teach. The Bible teaches blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to separate. And what I mean by separate, not like us flying to another country and getting land of our own. What it means when the Bible says separate, we have to separate our spirit from America. Meaning God gave us laws to follow, and America has laws to follow. You understand? And the Bible's laws outweigh man's
Well, it
laws.
says that, you better obey God's law than man's law.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And God's laws is not, the alternative lifestyles. It's not the culture and Christmases and Thanksgivings and birthdays.
No.
Those aren't God's laws. But because we are joined with America, we suffer because we follow their laws.
Right.
And blacks and Hispanics are God's chosen people. And when we turn our back on the Most High God, we're liable to keep going through the same thing, atrocities and horror that we've been going through. And that's the importance of separation. And that's the key.
I agree with that.
Once we change and come back to God, all that stuff stops. So that's
Okay,
the
now I
solution.
got a
That's
question.
our solution
I
and
got a
answer to
question
the
for
problem.
you. I got a question for you.
Okay.
But I just said just a minute ago, I said there's no solution to a hate crime. There's no solution to that. Then if that's the case, we stop following America's ways and start doing God's way.
Right.
And all that stuff has to stop. Do you really believe that stuff is going to stop because we follow God?
For sure. For sure. Because if you believe in the Most High God and if you believe in His Word, He created everybody, right?
Okay.
He created everything, right?
Right.
Do you believe His Word is in vain?
No.
So in the Bible, and I believe in this in the book of Proverbs, it says that when it says, and we just went over this morning in the book of Proverbs, it says when the righteous are in authority, when the righteous rule, the people are glad, everybody's happy. But when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. And it's been a lot of mourning here because the wicked are in rule. So we have to separate from the wicked and come back to the Most
So
High
are you
God.
telling us that we need to segregate again like we're back in the 60s and the 50s, that whites are on one side of the track and the blacks on the other side of the
That
track?
would have been a lot more beneficial to us.
Well, it was way back in the day.
Get a brother a hand. Get a brother a hand. And it's not that, and then they label us a hate group because we teach that. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians should be separate from the so-called white man, the Chinese, the Africans, and so forth and so on. Now, they say that that's against America because America is a melting pot. But you see who benefits at the top. They do.
Yeah,
We don't benefit.
Right.
After integration, if you know history, like you said, it was better because we had our own.
Yeah, we had our own. That on Fifth Street, we had bowling alleys, had restaurants, had pharmacies, had doctors, had lawyers, had, all
Now
that.
look, we're in a historical area. Kind of just show the camera. We're in a historical area in the jazz district of Vine, right?
Yeah.
Who do you mostly see out here today?
I see white folks actually mostly. I don't see today. And another thing is today or this month is Black History
It's Black
Month.
History Month.
And so I don't see it should be filled up with blacks going up and down the street everywhere.
Yeah,
you go.
but Black History Month, that's another topic.
I'm just saying.
That's
I'm
another
not
topic.
saying it like that. I'm just saying if we're supposed to be celebrating our own, have a month to celebrate our own. Why aren't our own out here celebrating?
Well, we should be celebrating us every day.
Well,
That's right.
You understand? We should be celebrating us every day. Now, that's what I was saying. The solution is we come back, we separate our spirit out of the spirit of America. All those crimes would stop. We would be back on top, and that's God's word, and that's the truth. You understand? I appreciate the interview, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Taking the time out to talk to us.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day. I hope I was
Shalom.
intelligent enough, not stupid.
No.